Oh, I thought I heard you down here. You found your dad's stash.
You know, it's never much of a secret.
Pour me a drink.
Danny wants to say something at the service tomorrow.
We've already discussed that.
Mom, I won't tell my siblings that he can't speak at his own father's funeral. I'm sorry. What is it? You afraid of something he's gonna say?
I don't know. I just I just don't think your father would want him speaking.
But Dad's not here and Danny is. I don't even know what the hell I'm gonna say.
Well, it doesn't have to be perfect.
Would be nice to say something about him that people don't already know. He always said his childhood was shit, but he never talked about his childhood.
Well, what you don't know, he didn't want you to know.
How bad was it? Come on, he must have told you stories over the years.
A few. He grew up on a cattle ranch.
I knew that.
Well, it was supposed to be a cattle ranch. But your grandfather was a shit businessman. He was a shit everything. Did you know your father didn't graduate from high school?
He told me.
Do you know why?
Because he was a shitty student?
Well, he did get in way too much trouble back then. But no, that is not why he didn't graduate.
Why didn't he graduate?
Do you remember Graham?
In some cases, yeah.
You know, she wasn't his real mother.
She was his stepmother.
Yeah. And he liked her better than he did his father. But that wasn't saying very much. Anyway, it was a holiday, Memorial Day, I think. They were barbecuing. And your father was off somewhere. And when he got home, he couldn't find his stepmother.
What do you mean he couldn't find her? Where was she?
Why do you want to know this?
Mom, tell the damn story, come on.
Well, he didn't know. So he went outside where the barbecue was. And he saw his father at the grill, walked up to him, and he saw that he was grilling steaks and he was stabbing them with this grilling fork and just flipping them over, but they were burnt, charred. But he just kept stabbing them and flipping them and stabbing them and flipping them. Well, Robert then knew something wasn't right, and his father was drunk. So he went inside and he asked Uncle Turk and Aunt Win where Graham was. But they were little back then and they were too scared to say anything.
Scared why?
He didn't know why. But then he heard somebody moaning and crying. And it sounded like it was coming from the cellar.
The cellar?
Your grandfather had locked her in there. And when Robert let her out, he saw her face.
What?
It was smashed. Broken nose. Blood everywhere. Looked like she'd been run over by a truck.
So what'd he do? Did he call the police or?
It was rural Texas in the late 50s. Nobody would have done anything. So he went outside himself to confront his father, and they fought. Went at it.
What happened?
Your grandfather slashed him with a steak knife. And then he snapped. He grabbed that grilling fork and he stabbed his father in the neck. He said he almost killed him, but he pulled back. And he said those two holes in his neck looked like a rattlesnake had bit him. He actually laughed about that some of the time. Anyway, after that, he took off, and I don't think he ever came back home. Because he told me if he had stayed, he would have killed the son of a bitch. That's why your father never graduated from high school.